Good evening, family. Happy Black Love Thursday. Happy Black Love Thursday, family. For those who may be new to our program, yours and mine inclusive. It's a community program where we promote Black love, whether you're married, single, or divorced. It's our firm belief in the Black Love Family page, which is in your groups, that no matter what we join on as far as revolutions, organizations, religious institutions, absent of love, if we go in for any other reason, there's a strong possibility once that other reason is satisfied, you, I, we will soon fall out. However, if love is the root foundation of why you join on to anything, then you become more consistent once you water the love. And it's our belief that the most dynamic love outside of God and self is companionship. So that when you give love or birth to a love between man and a woman, it reproduces itself in offspring and children, and that love overflows into the community, which combats some of the negative ills that face our community: violence, crime, things that hurt communities, lack of unity. Love is a bonding agent that helps heal the heart and the mind. So happy Black Love Thursdays. We are unapologetically Black, meaning that because we're pro-Black does not mean we're anti anyone else. It just means that we, in the Black Love family, we have been conditioned to love in everybody else first, except for ourselves. So we want to take this time to love on some Black folks. I'm sorry, family. I'm having a technical difficulties. We want to take this time to love on some Black folks, family. Um, and it's okay. We don't have to be ashamed of loving us. We're not doing this in spite of anybody else. We're doing it because we are the most love deprived, lack of unity people in the world here in North America. Black people here in North America. So we want to rectify that by starting to love on some of us. So this is the day that we uplift one to the other. The kings take the time to uplift the queens, and the queens take the time to uplift the kings. Post something, say something positive about the opposite sex. Let them know that we think about them, we care about them. And it doesn't always have to be in a romantic way, just genuine love. So happy Black Love Thursdays. There's a couple of rules that we do in our program. We want you all to first share and invite, not for the purposes of vanity. We believe that there's beautiful, wise minds in our community. And once you share it, it adds more of that beautiful intellect into our conversations so that your comments, your questions that you pose, not only to us, but inside the group comment section, it sparks idea and it keeps the dialogue going till we get more answers than just the one-sided. We want people to, if they disagree, do it in the most respectful manner. We're not going to always agree on everything. And with that being said, family, as you're sharing and inviting, we would like for you to please focus on the topic so you can start preparing what you think about the topic and what you add to the topic or any questions you have to the topic. And the topic is simply this. I don't know if it's simple, but how can you tell if someone is running game or do they genuinely like you? Does loneliness make you turn a blind eye to game when someone's running game on you? Does loneliness make you turn a blind eye? But the first question is crucial. How can you tell? Do people know if someone's running game? And if you do know, what's the indicators? How can you tell if someone genuinely like you? Or, running game, or if they genuinely like you? Do you know the difference? So, with that being said, family, we're going to get right into the topic. But before we get into the topic, I have to introduce my co-host, my brother, all the way down in Florida, by way of New York. Our brother, you see him, smooth, silky, chocolate skin, highlighted with the white shirt. Now, I said that, family, because guess what, family? We go through stages as a people too. You know, one decade is El DeBarge and Al B. Sure. The next decade is Nino Brown, Wesley Snipes, Mekhi Phifer. I think that's the brother name, Chad, whatever, and this new brother Idris. Now our sisters are all over the place. When Obama got in, now it's Obama. They going back from Obama to D'Angelo, and so we want to highlight our brothers in all hues. And this is my brother, and he's intelligent. He's well articulate. Him and his queen, they have been married for some time, and they're doing a beautiful work, working the marriage, and not only working the marriage in the romantic part, but in the economic and the business part of the marriage that most people don't get focused on. Oftentimes until it's too late. Brother Amari.
Peace and blessings, family. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Black Love Thursdays program, where we are unapologetically in love with ourselves. We believe in self-preservation. And as my brother said, I still resent that remark, man, about, No, I'm just joking, man. I greatly appreciate that love, man. Thank you so much, man. Happily married to my queen, Amani Mari, as he said. We also do a program as requested for our good sister on here. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do a marriage relationship program every 2 months. So we're gonna try to do it like on the second and third week in the month. It's called Keys to a Successful Relationship with the Amaris. Why? Because we're happily married. So we want to be an example to our peers, the younger generation and the older generation. So we definitely want to contribute to the community in that fashion. Also on Mondays, we have Wealth Building Strategy Mondays at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for those who are in business within any moral arena of business. All right. We would love to contact you. You know what I'm saying? And we come together and we build to be able to help to empower our people economically. We want to practice cooperative economics. On Tuesday, we have Brother to Brother Talk, goes at the same time as Black Love Thursdays. If you don't know, it starts at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Now you know. Peace and blessings. Love you.
And yes, family, I have to apologize as well that our sister lady out in Detroit, while in Michigan, she definitely wanted to be on tonight. She was having some technical difficulties on how to get on. She's still trying to work it out. So yeah, our sister is not on, and our sister Tahara, one of our admin secretary for the Black Love Family page, which is in your groups. She's the admin secretary. She graciously filled in for our sister. So I don't want y'all to think that we misrepresented by way of the Morning Post that the sister was going on. I just want to give you all the explanation. So with that being said, sisters, I'm going to ask you all first, and either one of you all can jump in, no particular order. You all are used to brothers, and before we go any further, I want to acknowledge a few people. Queen Rhonda, Queen Mother out of New York, our brother Kevin Doyle, our Haitian brother that resides in uh, Atlanta, our sister Jesus, our East Coast sister, very, very spiritual, universal spiritual sister. Peace to you. And anybody else that I've missed, because it says it's more people that are on. Peace, welcome, and happy Black Love Thursdays. Sisters, not only that I'm talking to that's on this panel, I want you all to respond to this question. Because you're more approached than any species on this planet, the black woman. The way God beautifully made you, you are very attracting and alluring. You probably can't get out your driveway well enough without being approached. You can go to the laundromat and look half-baked and get approached. You go to the grocery stores and you just slipping in and slipping out. You didn't take time to get ready. You get approached. When men approach you, how can you tell if, when he's approaching you, if he has a genuine interest in you or he's running game? I'm taking the mic off both of the sisters. Y'all can speak, whomever first.
Okay, so for me, I didn't see my sister Queen's lips moving. So for me, it will be not just him approaching me, because he has to do more than approach me to show me a genuine interest. It takes a lot more than that. So it's going to take some conversations and seeing, where he is with respect to the conversations and what direction the conversations are actually going. Like if we're talking about, if it's just like texting me, or if it's just, simple conversations, to me, that doesn't mean there's a genuine interest. It just means that he just decided to text me today or call me today, if it's not another action that is talking about us getting together, going out to dinner, or some form of activity involved. So approaching is not enough for me to see an interest. It's like you said, you could get approached at the gas station. A person, I had someone in a parking lot to say, walk over to me the distance of about 40 feet to give me a compliment. And then he said, if I don't see you again, if I see you again, then that's a sign. Well, that was kind of like a line that he gave me, kind of seeing where I'm going to go with that.
Okay. So, Sister Amani, you got a lot of wisdom. You've been on this planet a while. You're obviously beautiful too. And when I say planet on a while, I'm talking about you not 19 and you're 20. You don't make the same young girl mistakes. You obviously an adult. You've been married before and you're married again. At this stage of your life, I'm just talking about on initial contact. Is there an indicator if a brother is genuine? Not prior to you being married now. Was there an indicator that a brother was genuinely interested in you, or he was just running some game? If so, could you tell? Could you tell early on? How could you tell if you could? If not, explain when could you tell? Go ahead, Sister Amani.
Can you hear me? Okay, great, great. Hello, everyone out there in the Black Love family. I would say that if a person is hissing at me and catcalling, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious by approaching me that way. So that's one. If a person is genuinely, walking up to you and they're having a conversation, a nice conversation, and they look like their spirit is intact, just at first glance, and they look like I can get a feel as to whether they're kind of trying to be genuine, and I'll take it a step further. Maybe we can exchange numbers or what have you. Take it a step further. If after the initial contact things begin to fall apart, then we know that there's game there. But just by somebody just coming up and in a disrespectful fashion, I say they were running game off the rip. So, and I don't have time for that. And in my sweet Georgia Brown voice, I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
You should need a man with sensitivity, a man like me.
Exactly.
So I ask you this, Brother Amar. You a man. And I'm saying this to the brothers. I'm saying it to the brothers real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to expose the game as well as we as brothers are not well. But all that God has allowed me to experience women, both good and bad, he also said, whatever you did wrong to women, I'm going to bless you with daughters. Now that I have daughters, I see the error in some of my ways, so I want to expose the game to my daughters of some of the ways. Is there a thing that when you see Brother Mar either have done or see brothers do, that you can tell that that brother either is trying to run game to conquer that sister's physical beauty, or you can tell that, oh, that brother sincerely like that sister? What are some of the signs that as a man that you can tell or have said and done? Have you ever been confused? Meaning that you really like the sister prior to your marriage, but all these guys have said almost the same thing you said, but you was genuinely interested in her, and she put you in the game box. Go ahead, Brother Mark.
Oh, okay, brother. You threw a lot at me, so we're gonna have to condense my answers because those are some elaborate questions. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question, man, how does a woman actually know when I seen game? Bottom line is, if the brother only have time for intimacy sexually, then that's a sign. Period. That's just really bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he tries to go beyond, a handshake and trying to get you into the bed, and he has an attitude, that's a sign. Because any man that respects a woman will never have an issue with her saying, I'm not ready yet, or I want to wait till I'm married. And and another sign is that the brother, he don't make it. You understand? He don't even make it to the engagement or the marriage. So there you go. So celibacy is a perfect way. And a lot of sisters don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Celibacy is a perfect way, because when you do that, all right, now he got what he wanted. So what else is there left? You know what I'm saying? Because most men, I must admit, that's not serious. That's all they want anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I would train my daughter to be celibate, be a virgin. You know what I'm saying? And some people say it's so tough. I know plenty of females in high school, from my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? From my knowledge, because some find it to be embarrassing to have lost their virginity. Some, okay, during my time. You know what I'm saying? And I know plenty of them. So I would definitely encourage her to be celibate and wait for the right man. Now, how will one be able to tell that he's the right man? Like the queen said before, just conversation doesn't mean it, right? Even flowers and roses, well, roses are flowers. You know what I'm saying? So candy, and even a promise ring. You honestly, I'm just keep it real, because some dudes play games. Whoever seen that movie Thin Line Between Love and Hate? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Then Martin, he said the three words that you would never think that a man would say, but sex is like a drug to some, and some people don't understand that. Sex is really like a drug. Some brothers they'll tell you anything to have sex with you. They will tell you anything. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, hey, wait until, what I'm saying, you walking down that aisle and after the vows and all that good stuff. And then after, I do, and you kid, and everybody jump the broom, whatever you gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Then you let them handle business, have I ever dealt with a woman that put me in a box of game? No, not from what I was saying, because, bro, honestly, and for those who follow me and watch me on here, I'm not saying anything new. I don't have game. My queen is sitting right here. I didn't come to her with any lines. I promise you that. It was general conversation. You know what I'm saying? General conversation. Now, I'm just everybody different. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to give her the real me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I am. That's why I'll try to tell jokes, because I'm corny. So I just stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? So Gabe, I don't even try to do it. I just be who I am, man. You know what I'm saying? And I've been put in the box, not because of what I said. Unfortunately, because some men have broke women's heart. And they acted so well to where the sister, you know what I'm saying, even pulling out the chair, chivalry, all that, she's still looking at you like, uh-huh. Like, what's your intention? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? What's behind all this good stuff that you're doing? Are you doing all this good stuff to get the good stuff? You understand what I'm saying? So I dealt with that. I definitely dealt with that. So that's my session.
Thank you, my brother. And I want to ask the queens now. I love how you broke that down. I want to ask the queen a follow-up question. I want the queens to keep it 100 with this question. Sisters, does the brother who is what you deem to be your type, so say your type is he's handsome, say your type is he smells good, he wears a nice cologne, he's your height, you met him in an environment that says that he's a working man, he's a successful working man, and he's easy on the eyes, does that brother typically get away with saying something that the less attractive brother that you met asked on the bus stop, they say that same identical thing, but presentation, where they was at, does that brother typically get away or get a little bit more leeway than a brother who does not appear, I ain't say does not appear to be your type? Does he typically get away with saying things to you, queens, that opens the door for further conversation? I'm taking the mic off both of you, queens, whoever start.
Okay, so when I speak, I know I'm speaking because Sister, we've had this conversation. And so for us, it does not. It's not about what he's saying or how he looks for that presentation. No, I don't see it as that. They don't get it any easier than the other person does to answer that question. I mean, I had a guy who, followed me from the train, and he happened to be going the same way. He walked me to the corner, kissed my hand before, and I started avoiding him on the train because he was a little bit too aggressive for me. And he was, dressed well, and I knew he worked. He was on his way to work. So it didn't have, anything to do with how he was dressed. he didn't get it any easier, a conversation any easier than the other person would, to answer your question. Was there another part to that?
No? Sister Amani?
I just say if certain guys, they would never approach me for some reason. They just never come my way. They never try and talk to me. So, that process of elimination was fairly easy. I did have a lot of six-figure guys for some strange reason to come after me. And no. It's no better for them than it would be for anybody else. Because my motto used to be, I don't care how many letters you have behind your name or how many zeros you have in your bank account. If you're not the one, you're not the one. I don't care. It does not, what I always say, it doesn't raise my berry. It doesn't appease me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always say, for me, for somebody who got to know who I am and got to know my destiny, it didn't matter what type of carrot you was dangling. I wasn't biting it. Because I know within myself, what road I'm supposed to be traveling and things like that. And that's just who I went after, those that are who I agreed to conversate with, those that I know that were genuinely for me, basically.
See, brothers, y'all are not the one. It's me. That's all I got to say.
And he's absolutely right. They were not the one. And I told them that they wasn't the one. So don't call me no more. No, go ahead to the next question.
That's right.
Don't call.
You can call me if you want to talk.
Listen, go ahead, Brother Mike. We'll have a flashback.
You understand.
Okay, well, look, Brother Amar,
Brother Mike, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it all boils down to having standards. So when you have standards that are set and you have high standards, like she was saying, certain people are not going to come your way. I had one person I was telling her that tried to talk to me one day. It just kind of shocked me. I was like, I must be off my game because this type doesn't usually approach me. And so she's right, because a person can tell. They could tell the way you walk. They could tell the way you talk. And that type won't even try to have a conversation with you because they'll know that you're not the one to fall for the okie doke.
And Brother Mike, and just like she said, you can tell. You can tell when, for me personally, I can tell when somebody is on game. You know what I'm saying? They look like a duck, quite like a duck. It's a duck. You know what I'm saying? When someone is approaching you in such a manner where they're disrespectful, so to speak, and then say we do go from point A to point B, where I did give you my telephone number and et cetera, et cetera. If I can't get in touch with you no more, or you know what I'm saying, you're standing me up on dates and you're telling me all type of lame excuses. I mean, the red flags are everywhere. We cannot ignore what is being presented before us. I was in one situation where it was obvious as the nose on my face that this individual was not right. But I was struggling within myself saying, okay, you need to give this type more, more play. You're not better than him and this and the other. But guess what? I was right. I was right about everything that I felt about him. I was right about everything that I thought about him. I was just right. And I think that's one thing that we need to do. We need to acknowledge the inner voice that's telling you just as loud, just as plain as the nose on your face. They are not the one. They are misleading you. You know what I'm saying? There are situations, say for example, you went out with him a couple times and then you call him, then all of a sudden he busy. Oh, I'm busy. That type of stuff. I mean, it's just obvious. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. And I had to learn in some situations to read between the lines because everybody knew that I was in a relationship for a long time and I really didn't understand the dating. I was totally green out there. And then I learned to read between the lines. My mom used to always tell me, she used to say, you know, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep them from you. If you're having a hard time connecting, if you're having a hard time getting with them, then maybe there's something in between the lines that you're not reading. If you can't see them on the weekend, if you can't see them at night, if they got to see you, they turn you to a shot in the dark, you understand? Those are red flags. Let's not ignore what is blatant and in your face. I'm going to say this other thing, and then, you know, I'll turn it over to Brother Mike. For those who, we have some that are very spiritual, some that actually, you know, could, you know, pick up things in the spiritual realm, whatever. I'm her. And when it came down to, I'm gonna speak about my husband. He came and he said something to me, you know, was inbox, said something to me on the inbox. I spoke to him and stuff. I said, oh yeah, let me see where this going. If he would have glided to the left a little bit too far, it'd have been a wrap. The first time he said something to me, I just gave him a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said something, I like, thumbs up. Next. Why this man? You know, I'm thinking to myself, why he in my inbox like this? But anyways.
Anyway, she wanted this chocolate. Don't let her fool you. I'm just saying.
Later on in life, and that had to be like a year later, you know what I'm saying? He approached me and he said whatever he said or what have you. But back to being spiritual, before I even saw him for the first time, because of my prayer life, I got a gathering of who he was. And I'm not saying that what I discerned was all good either. Now I got a good husband. But what I needed to know was discern. You know, I discerned that.
Yes.
So
Why you saying?
So and Brother Mike, I'm gonna get a mic right to you. But so I met him. Everything was copacetic. Everything was beautiful. But then it came time for me to go and see him. And I knew that once I walked into his home, that I would discern even more. And that's exactly what happened. So I asked him, you know, based upon what I felt and what I saw, and it was exactly right. So what I'm saying to everyone,
true,
you got to go with the gut feeling. You got to go with what your eyes see. You know what I'm saying? They say that men are like, you know, what they see, and women like what they hear. What I say what your eyes see is, if it, like I said, if it look like it act like it, then that's what it is.
And thank you, sister. And don't rush yourself. Please don't rush yourselves. Y'all want to express yourself, get it out. And some of the women in here, they're replying. And I need some of our brothers to reply, because the next question is specifically designed for the brothers. Brothers, we have been the ones accused more often of running game. Have we ever been bumped in the head? Have sisters ever ran game on us? There's an old saying in the hood that goes like this. They say men and women lie. They just lie differently.
Yes,
Men
sir.
lie and say, I want a relationship with you. Women lie and say, that's your baby. So they say there's two different lies going on in them. Have we ever been bumped in the head? Amar, have a woman manipulated you so cold that she made you thought you was the one? And as time transpired, you found out everything didn't add up, but her conversation coupled with her beauty and the lure to her beauty made you believe those things that she was saying initially that you found out was false. Have you been bumped in the head? And if you had a son, how would you tell your son what signs to look forward to?
Nah, bro. I can honestly say that a woman's beauty has never wooed me to the point of being a fool. You know what I'm saying? Now over time, I have found out that she has thought what love is, you know what I'm saying? And she thought she knew rather what love is, and it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you that. You know, And over time, I found out that it was all about her. You know what I'm saying? Now, definitely not my queen I'm with, of course. But over time, yes, it manifested that, in fact, it to the point it affected my credit. That I had to deal with that, making me think that everything okay, things is being handled. And I pulled my credit report and find out that all the stuff that was accumulated on my credit report was during the time when she and I was together, and so I had found out that way. I had a men have intuition too. So let that be known. Okay, men know what's up too. Trust and believe me. Men know what's up too. Believe that. Our discernment may not be as keen as a woman, but we know. You know what I'm saying? And I had a feeling that I couldn't trust her, and come to find out that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? So how would I tell my son to be able to know? First of all, just taking his time, man. It's just the bottom line. See, I don't try to discern nobody. I tell people this all the time. I have avoided marrying numerous women that weren't the one for me because I simply allowed time. Not because of their beauty, not because of their nice shape, not because, they're well off. Okay. Not because she knows how to woo a man with her words. Not because, she was a sex goddess. Okay. No. You know what I'm saying? No. Let time take its course. You know what I'm saying? And you allow time to be on your side, and it will manifest whether or not that woman is the one or not the one for you. Now, I'm a spiritual man. I will always say, let the Creator show it to you. Pray. I believe in it because it never failed me, and it obviously worked. I wish I had did this all those times before I met this beautiful woman, and I would have avoided all of that. And also, don't let religion dictate to you and tell you, who is the one for you and who's not the one, because a lot of us end up relationships because of religion. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell him, no. God's not going to make you marry somebody, son. You know what I'm saying? That's a man-made thing right there. You know what I'm saying? You are the one that has to make a wise decision. That's why even the Bible says know the whole matter before you come to a conclusion. All right? You know what I'm saying? So, you got to, allow time as you ask these questions, you watch her reactions. And if she have this problem with you asking her certain things, then that's a sign too. Like if she don't want to disclose how her credit is, she don't have to say, her score. You could just say, do you got good credit or bad credit? What's up? You know what I'm saying? If she got children, okay, is the father paying child support? What's up? Where are you at with this? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because that's important, because you have to have a financial enough income, to where, you have to be able to take care of those children too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. So we're talking about how do you know? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just tell you that's something that I have dealt with. I'm not making this up, man. I've dated numerous women prior to my queen. I'm telling you what I know. And some of them, if they're serious, they don't have no problem with telling you these things. But if they're catching this attitude, oh, he just running away from, his responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he not a real man. He don't want to. Now you get that type of reaction because you asking these questions. You know what I'm saying? Then nah. Sure thing, she's not the one for you, bro.
Can I say something? Brother Mike? Okay. I just want to say in regards to whether someone is running game on you or not. Some of these people, I'm telling you, we have to be very, very, very careful out there because the motives and the hearts of people are just not right. Some of them are downright slimy. They learn how to read the zodiac. They read every book for how to win friends and influence folks. They got books out there to tell you how to manipulate somebody, etc., etc., etc. It's out there. It's on YouTube. It's in the bookstores. You know what I mean? So you really, really have to be careful and watch. You know what I'm saying? Watch what they say. Watch as well as pray. Watch. You know what's going on, and listen to those things, that those sirens that keep going off within yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you set your guidelines out there and say, I'm not going to do this, this, and this, and if they're constantly violating that and taking you into another direction, well, that's a sign that perhaps maybe they ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? Perhaps maybe their motives are not as pure as yours. Y'all not on the same page. So I'm just leave that right there. And I know there's a part 2 to this question too, and I know we'll get to that later.
And could I say something also?
Yeah.
So I confess to you all, since y'all are family, I had a short period of time. I ran innocent game. It wasn't like it. Mine was just fill my day, like a breakfast date, a movie lunch afternoon date, and then maybe I'll schedule a dessert date. Now, I wasn't serious with anyone. There was no hanky-panky going on with absolutely anyone, because I had a male advisor. I worked at a government laboratory, and he was older. And my male advisor told me that, I told him then, I said, I want 3 boyfriends. I was like in my 20s. I said, I want 3 boyfriends. And I said, because I know I'm not going to find all in one. So I want one that makes me laugh, one for cultural, and one just to do fun things. And he said, well, you're in control of your physical aspect of things, which I always knew anyway. And so, yeah, I have done that, but not in a way where I was manipulating or spending, like dessert date. That didn't cost them a lot of money. And they had great conversation with all of these dates. And I'll tell you all, I think for some reason as women, I don't know why we ignore the red flags. The flags are there, the signs are there, but we still go to that path. If you're baking a cake, I like to bake a lot. If I'm baking a cake, I can't deviate from that recipe. The recipe is still all of these specific ingredients, and there are certain things that I need to do. And when I think about a relationship, when you see that person is showing you your time should be worth a lot. Your time should be worth more than you wasting it. Like I had this rule where if someone was calling me, they weren't just coming over to watch a movie. I didn't like if they called me to see what I was doing, I would follow that with, where are we going? What are we doing? So they knew it was an action in place. I don't care if we're going to have coffee. It's not going to be me sitting entertaining on my sofa. I didn't like just someone coming over, wasting my time sitting on the sofa. So, that person has to put some time in you, some effort. They have to put some energy. They have to do some planning. They're going to take you around their family, around their friends if they're truly interested. It's not going to be just, you and them in all situations. And they're not going to be calling me all hours of the night either, because I had a time cutoff. And I know someone told me that they called me at an inappropriate time. It was after 10. And I blocked them from calling me. And I tell you, my ex-husband, he wasn't date worthy. So when I moved back from Florida, we had a good understanding that we were going to be together. However, I got here and there were signs that he was not date worthy. My toothbrush was in a different spot. I measure precisely where I put it. I knew the position that I put it, and it was not in the spot. And that's a sign, when things that you do have there are moved around or in different spots. It could be something as simple as your washcloth is gone. I just had it yesterday. Where is it gone today? I'm so serious. So I watch all of those little signs. And we ignore those things as women, but we can't operate in a method of being desperate or and thinking like he's the last man in the world, because there is someone that is worth your time, worth your value. So I'm gonna tell you, I stopped seeing him because he was not date worthy. Those are the exact words I used. He didn't know where I was. He didn't know because I had moved. He didn't know where I was. And one day, out of the clear blue sky, he called me. We met just to have, conversation, for him to apologize for that. And we ended up getting married later. And he said to me then, I know I need to do these things in order for us to be together. Because he knew I was not the one that was going to play. I was not the one to play with.
So I thank you, Queen. And so on our wrap up, I would like everybody to touch on this. The second part of it. If it didn't affect you personally, that you've gone through it, have you had friends, family members who went through this second part? You or a friend, you knew the person was running game. However, you were lonely. You were in a drought. You've been in relationship after failed relationship, and you just wanted some companionship. And the person that showed you interest, there was signs, there was red flags, but you ignored it. Have you known someone or done it yourself? Let that loneliness make you turn a blind eye to those red flags just to have companionship. Now, every man has been Samson in some point in life, experienced a Delilah. And every woman ain't always had Boaz. They just haven't. So what about these pretenders that broke your heart? We all experienced it. But I want to ask a very specific question. As we get older and disappointment sets in and you're alone, Thanksgiving coming up and you ain't got nobody. Christmas coming up, you ain't got nobody. They throwing a family barbecue, whatever. Most of the people partnered up, but you ain't got nobody. Does loneliness lend to turning a blind eye to gain? Anybody can answer that, brother or sister.
Okay, good question. I believe that more people that do it than would like to confess that they're doing it. There are people, that are going with someone who's already taken, whether it be husband, whether it be boyfriend, and of course they're going to show up to the Christmas dinner with nobody because he's with his wife or he's with his other half or what have you. But instead of the individual realizing that they should have someone there with them for Christmas, maybe they don't even want nobody with them. Yeah, let me just say that too, because sometimes you just passing the time or what have you. But it's been quite a few of us do it just to pass the time or have done it. And I'll just speak for myself. I wasn't lonely. I just didn't have nothing else to do. And so that was it. And I'm sure I answered the question. You got something to say, Brother Amar?
Yeah, she spent that time wisely. She found the man. Yeah, I mean, hey man, when you find that out, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, you talked about if you find out, Mike, that I understand you correctly your question, you found out that the person is playing games. Is that correct?
No, you see the red flags from the get on,
Right.
but you're at a point in your life that you're lonely. You're really lonely.
Mhm.
Does loneliness make you turn a blind eye to the red flags just for companionship? Have you
Okay, yeah.
experienced or known somebody else
So
to?
you found out. Okay, so you did find out because you know you seen the ref, so you found out. So yeah, some people do that. Now, me personally, I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't do that. It's not that much loneliness in the world. I'd rather be by myself than be in a house with the hell raisers. I don't need, you know what I'm saying, the water roses going on over here, bruh. You understand? So you know what I'm saying? With me, nah. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. I had homegirls who told me that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm tired of being by myself, and I could see them getting weak. You know what I'm saying? Not to say some brothers don't go through that because that'll be just not true. Now, I personally don't know who brother who done it, but not to say it doesn't exist. The most times I've dealt with it has been with a sister. Okay, and you know I got a lot of children. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of men don't want to commit because of you know them having a lot of children or having a child. You know what I mean? And so a lot of women, I can't front for real. A lot of women, you know, they may not have a hard time finding a man, but it is a challenge finding a husband. That's across the board right there. A spouse, period. You know what I'm saying? That's a challenge across the board. But some people do, man. Their emotions. I'm getting lonely. My time clock is ticking. You know what I'm saying? Well, let it tick, doggone it. You know what I'm saying? It's better to let it tick than, you know what I'm saying? Before you get somebody, your clock stop ticking at all. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, you know, I'm just saying, you know, so it's better, you know, to wait it out, you know, and that's just my view and my recommendation for you. Because like my queen said, I was by myself and I had fun being single. And no, you know, I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, having sex with everything that moved. Okay. You know, contrary to popular belief, I've never been a player. You know what I'm saying? That's straight up. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't that desperate, you know what I'm saying, for me to, you know, commit to a woman just for me to have sex. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just say this just so I'm good. Cause I don't want to deal with this. Oh, you played me and all these phone calls and oh, you dirty dog and putting your name out there. Oh, he ain't nothing but a dog. No, I don't have no time for that, man. I ain't had no time, bruh. I didn't have no time for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was honest with women and they still was harassing me after I just said, nah, you know, this is no, you know, so nah, man. You know what I'm saying? But I would recommend brother and sister alike, you know, all jokes aside, don't do it. Don't do it. Because the only thing you're doing is welcoming unnecessary roughness into your life. Okay. And for some of you, seriously, now I'm very serious about what I'm saying. I'm not playing right now. You know what I'm saying? Some of you, you better watch this person who get aggressive with you, both men and women. Okay. All right. Stop. No, oh, I'm going to just give it a little time. No, it's no more time. It's time out now. The time is out. When that person start becoming, you know, that aggressive towards you and they putting their hands on you, oh no. You don't ignore that. No, ma'am, no, my brother, no, my sister. Don't do that. And that's all I have to say about that. Don't put yourself in that situation.
Sahara?
I thought he was talking about football for a second. He said unnecessary roughage and timeout, and I got all excited thinking about football.
Hey,
But
it's game time. It's game time.
exactly. And you know what? And relationships are very much, and sometimes people running game is very much like a football. You know, you
Yeah.
have, you know, your quarterback that's taken, so that, you know, that quarterback that's taking that ball is that person that's serious. His job is to, you know, to not get sacked or not to, you know, so his job is to stay on his toes. And that's what that man or that woman that's serious about you would do is they're going to stay on their toes and they're going to come with their A game and they're going to show up and they're going to be present. You know, I think finding a spouse is easy. I think finding the right spouse is more of a challenge. I only say that because I've been married twice. And so I think it's easy to, I don't think it's, you know, been difficult. You know, that's not, you know, I think for women, though, that have not been married, sometimes they do feel a little bit of anxiousness and they operate, especially the older they get. Some friends that I've had, they operate a little bit more and they lessen their standards because of that, and but I do have, with the question that you asked, Mike, I have a friend and I had a conversation with her and I determined that she did not have any values, that she did not have a high opinion of herself, because she told me that, she had never been with a guy that she did not make the first move and sleep with the same day that she went out with him. So that told me no value and no, totally different morals. But Toller calls it free radical woman. So she's a free radical woman. And so I had a conversation with her. I called a guy friend to tell her, because this guy only called her Monday through Friday after work on his way home. So she was his just to pass time conversation, nothing else. And he didn't call her on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, to me, that said he either A, lived with someone, or B, was married. And C, there's a C too. C, he was very serious in that relationship with children, things that were taking up his time, because he never called her on the weekend. And to her, she made excuses. She was like talking to Robin from Waiting to Excel. And that's what we do as women. And then when we have women friends like us that tells the truth, that's not what they want to hear. So they go to the other group of women friends that's going to lie to them and make up stories and paint a different picture and draw something in there altogether that's not there. The man is not that into you. And he went and did this for months, never took her out for coffee or absolutely anything else. But to her, that was enough, because she was in that desperate place of loneliness. To me, I feel like it's enough out there to do, where it's so much to do, you don't have time to get lonely. You just have to get busy, get out your house, and find things to do, find you some business. And that's kind of how I feel about that. I didn't have that experience personally, because for me, it was, I told y'all, that short period of time I had in my 20s, and it was going out for coffee dates and dessert. And that was, the extent of mine. And so I think it's all about just knowing who you are, finding the friends that's going to be honest with you and are going to tell you the truth, and not tell you that tree is a rose bush. They're going to tell you exactly how it is. They're going to be straightforward. And women, we don't have to sleep with every guy that's our friend. We can have some men that's just our platonic friends, and it's okay. It's okay to have platonic friends, because they're going to be honest with you. They're going to be, really honest. I had a guy to show up one time. He showed up. He was 10 minutes late, and I left. And he called me, and he was kind of shocked that I left. But he was 10 minutes late. My time is money. My time is valuable. And so I left, and he was kind of surprised. And I said, well, let me call my best friend and see what he thinks I should do. And I called him, and my friend told me that he did think I was a little bit too hard. And so I called him back, and I told him, I'll call you back based on what my friend tells me. And I called him back. Okay, my friend did tell me I'm a little too hard. So we scheduled some time again. He was late again. See, my first impression of him was correct, because you have to be on your game. You have to be on your game, because men are certainly on their game. I had a date, and you know what? And going to events. I had a guy, he was my friend, where he went to work events with me. Went to the baseball game. If I'm going to Ken and Jen's house to a picnic, he went there with me, because I knew that he could fit in, he could have a conversation, and I went with him to work events. And that's okay to have a friend to go if you really need to show up with someone. But I'm a person where I don't mind showing up by myself, because I'm a meet, greet, and I'm a welcoming person wherever I go.
Well, thank you, Queen. I thank you all for coming on. As we wrap this up, family, I just want you all to understand that You know, we are in the world full of sports and play. We are in a world full of sport and play. And typically, you can hear this jargon. Ooh, girl, he got game. Hey, he got some game, girl. Well, when you listen to that language and you really vet it, and people will dismiss it like, oh, that's just a saying. You know, sometimes it's not and we dismiss it. If you, someone who has game, get ready to get played. Because what do you do with game? You get played. Here's the problem. Sometimes we have been so accustomed of game being fine to be ran on us or even successful that we get so called game conscious that genuine brother and sister who absolutely has an interest in you don't get a chance because the person who was not genuine allowed you in your mind to erect a wall. So then we become overly suspicious of everything. You know, life is a journey. But here's some indicators of game. When a person overly edify you in the beginning, he don't know, she don't know too much about you, but they edification of you is so unreal. You know, I just want to be with you. You don't know me. And I don't care if that's the first day. I don't care if that's the second date, the third date. Yes, beauty is alluring. And yes, we have certain things that we are attracted to that a person may possess. But that possession of that particular trait does not allow you to go all in. You hear brothers say, ooh, she's so fine, I'll drink her bath water. What the hell that mean? I ain't drinking your goddamn bath water. You might have a yeast infection. You might have corns. Fuck out your feet. Not I. You could be fine as hell with the unseen. These are the unseens. And I use that language because the yeast infection represents the yeast infection of the mind. The fungi on the feet represent where she been, her path. Is she going anywhere? So I say these things to us. Yes, we all have been victims of some form. If it didn't happen to us, we're a result of it. Mama was lonely, daddy was lonely, and here we are in the world. Loneliness is a hellified depressant, and it'll make you want something in something that's not available. Here it is, it'll make you think somebody is Prince Charming when they're a frog. Why? Because the sisters have coined the phrase. I heard it from sisters say this. I'd rather have a piece of a man than no man at all. Wow. We all want companionship. It's a beautiful thing. What we have to realize is that what have we put forth in our mind, like Sister Tahara and Amani said earlier, what's the standards? What's my deal breaker? We can be firm, we can be lenient. Some things you can be lenient on. Well, maybe brother's not the cleanest brother. Okay, cool. I compliment on that. I am. I knock it out. I do that. But if brother's a liar, if sister's a liar, then there's something that's probably a deal breaker. Why? Because I can't trust your words. Your words and your action don't meet. So how do you recognize game? You know, people who genuinely care about you, they will offer more so things about themselves so that you can explore them without you having to go deep off into it. Because I'm interested in you and I want to show you good, bad, or what is different, or why we should be together, or why we could be a fit or not. Yeah, sisters, don't get mad at a brother complimenting you on your beauty. Yes, sister, you're beautiful. You're absolutely beautiful. But if he keep talking about it, damn, you fine. Damn, you got a big ass. But damn, that's all I'm worth. You can't compliment me beyond that. Brother, what was the last sentence I just said? You don't know? Because you was focused on my buttocks? My bosom got you in la la land? Because you want to conquer this? Sister's the same thing to you. Shut up sometimes. Y'all super talkative. Y'all give a man a roadmap to your heart, and then when he follow it, because you guided him there without making him earn this way, make him ask the important questions. Make him ask the questions that make you tick, to get to your purpose, to get to your gifts. See if he has the wherewithal to want to know. Why? Because men support what they want to support. And if they don't want to know about it, they ain't trying to support it. What's your goal, sister? Where do you see yourself? Besides saying, I want to make somebody a good wife. All right, sister, that sounds good. What does a good wife look like to you? Let her explain herself. Okay, now you explain what it looked like. You didn't paint this picture, but are you the main actor in this picture this screenplay you just wrote? Ask a brother. Let him talk. Brother, what's your family values? What's your relationship with your families? Brother, you don't know anything about financial literacy. Yeah, because, sister, you know what? I got this rollie on, and I got this Bentley outside. Yeah, brother. But what's your plan to regenerate that income? Are you got everything that you're going into to buy these things and you don't have an overflow? Brother, if I took those things away from you, would you still feel validated as a man? So these are the things where you talk about game. It's not only just in the conversation. People need to be validated. They need to be edified to the nth degree because they don't feel a certain way about themselves. And when you talk about real life, genuine attraction, yeah, sister, we are visual creatures. So your beauty has drawn us to you. So don't get offended when a brother compliments you. However, a real man, real woman, they'll go deeper in whatever way they know how. Because at the end of the day, we all have been tricked by things that we liked, but it wasn't what we needed. He'll start seeking out the things that he needs in a woman. And he'll be vulnerable enough to express to you his strengths, his weaknesses, and allow you to make a choice instead of robbing you of a choice. And oftentimes, both male and female have overlooked that genuine person because we have been conditioned of game being run on us. So we come up with that language, women ain't this and men ain't that. We are some beautiful people together. Listen, we get horny. That's real. Let's not play with that. That happens. Here it is. Your biological clock or anything is calling you. It's calling you to feed it. But can we check those appetites enough to make somebody worthy of being there? Sisters, you got to guard your womb. Why? Because it's the gateway to your heart. It's the absolute gateway to your heart by way not only physical, but by DNA. by what you're accustomed to being as a woman, loyal. A woman don't want a body count. Men don't give a damn about a body count. Brother, how many women you slept with? Shit, I don't know. You ask a sister that question. Shit, in my 40 years, I can count on one hand how many men I feel. Some can go two hands, but they can count because it's valuable to a sister. It's valuable. It's more valuable to the sister. Now, don't get it twisted. Are there some sisters that's loose? That's fine. They lost their way. And for whatever reason, we shouldn't look down on them either. But I say to you all, you recognize game by one, listening, focus, observation for a protracted period of time, and see if all the dots line up. I'm a hell of a man. He might be right. He ain't lying. Hell all up in you, Chief. You a hell of a man. But a godly man, or a brother with a good spirit or universal spirit, he's a listening, humble, wise man. When he speaks, even in his jokes have wisdom in it if you pay attention to you. But he will always be found edifying, not just you. He edifies women. And if a man loves women, all he's looking for the one that's made for him. But a man can't hate women and then all of a sudden you the one. That hate will be revisited upon you. Same thing with sisters. So family, thank you all for listening. We want to have more conversations. I got the topic for next week, but I'm going to put 2 things out there within a week. I'm going to make a decision. But I want us to engage in these conversations more often. And I'm sorry that I didn't get a chance. Sister Sandra, you said something earlier, sister. I want to read that. Pardon me. Assalamu alaikum. You said something earlier. Oh, I love too deep to play with the devil. If I think I see a red flag, I'm backing up. My family say I'm looking for the perfection, but I say I'm looking for potential. We did a thing about potential versus promise. Sister, please go on my page and look it up. It's okay to have your standards, and I understand, sister, you're not looking for perfection. But I just caution you on this, and all of us, not just you particular sister. Sometimes we get so asphyxiated on the potential that one red flag, it might not be the red flag, but the one red flag is enough to send us running because we're waiting for that aha moment. It's called self-sabotage. See if, and you know this, sister, what I'm about to say, being created in triple darkness, and in that we striving for perfection, but in it we make error. If the error is something that you can live with and you see that the desire to make the correction, move forward. Because ain't no man not gonna make an error. Same thing with the sisters. Because why? We come from a sick and twisted world. However, we all desire companionship. Listen, observe, and before you commit to the heart, make sure the dots add up. Don't go ahead and get smitten in the courting stage. That's bullcrap. You get smitten in the courting stage and you still just meeting the representative. Let a motherfucker get mad at you. See if they respond. Like Brother Amar say, do they get aggressive? Do they get physical? Of course, when he or she is trying to court you and woo you, they hide that character. Make a motherfucker mad and see what he do. See how they respond. So we just have to learn that don't let our mistakes and failures be so game conscious that we don't recognize good people. But don't be so good that you don't recognize the liar as well. And you got to have the healthy balance. And how you do that? I go to one of my favorite scriptures. If my people who are called by my name would first humble themselves and seek my face, turn not from oh boy wicked ways, oh girl wicked ways, turn from their personal wicked ways. Kneel down. What does the kneel represent? Humility, lowering yourself to higher thinking, higher being. Kneel down and pray. Then when I hear the voice, it ain't a spooky voice, the voice that's within, talking to you, the better side of your conscience. I come down and heal your land. What's your land? Your hurts, your pains, your success. These are the things, family, I say to us humbly. Humility is a hellified tool or well tool to be able to observe what's good and bad for you. Humble yourself. Don't come in a situation assuming what you think you know. You think you know about all men. You think you know about all women. Humble yourself and let each journey be exploratory. And whatever you explore, believe it and make a decision based upon your beliefs. May God continue to bless us. Next Tuesday, I believe our brother will be on Brother to Brother Talk Tuesdays. I'm asking the brothers that support our brother. If you got a topic that you want to talk to, reach out to our brother. Our sisters need to see your beautiful minds. They need to see the strength in brotherhood. They need to know that we are there to protect them and our community and our offsprings. And even if our offspring ain't our offsprings, they are our nieces and our nephews. We need to be the protectors of our communities. And I just want us to understand that we are in what I believe the war of Armageddon, good and evil. Let's start polishing up our unity so that we can be prevailing and winning in our unity over evil. And sometimes those evil thoughts are not outwardly. Let's start conquering our inner thoughts. May God continue to bless us. As I greet you all in peace, Assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, ashe. Peace, family. May God be with us all.